Good morning, adventurers. My name is Ben, and welcome to a morning show where I sit around, drink some tea, and talk about D&D. First up for T&D today, we have our Dandy Donut Factory mug. Great little diner. There we go. Great little diner mug that people from, actually, my party that I run for got me, and it's very good. Inside of it, don't actually have tea. I have the last of my blackberry apple cider. Very, very good. It's a cold morning, so I figured it might be a good time to do that and just have that one be what we got, because one, for some reason it stays hot a little bit longer, and two, it just tastes really good when it's cold out for some reason, like extra good. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Instead, we're here to talk about a little something with relation to the book that's coming out. Now, originally, today was supposed to be the first look at Dragonlance, but I have learned that I will not get access to it until like 6 a.m. Pacific time, which is several hours after this episode is supposed to come out. So we're going to do it tomorrow instead. And instead, today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a couple of things that I kind of wanted to talk about in the lead up to that episode coming out, the book being released, but they didn't seem like huge pieces of information that were going to be super, super useful for me to like dive into and like really try to dissect, because they were two random smaller things, and really when the book came out, we were going to have all the answers anyway. But because I have had to reshuffle my plans, here we are instead. So let's go ahead and let's just take a look at it. If you are still unsure of what I'm talking about, because I have not actually said anything yet, I am talking about the two articles on D&D Beyond that gave us our sneak peeks in the last week of Death Dragons and the Red Ruin. These two look like they are going to be major players in the dragon army in Dragonlance, so the fact that we are getting a little bit of a sneak preview at them is really, really fantastic, and I'm really excited to get to actually see them when they come out. But until then, I've been like madly conjecturing in my head about what exactly the stat blocks on these things are going to look like. So let's go ahead and let's dive into it. First and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about the Red Ruin. That is the one that has been released more recently. The Red Ruin is not actually a dragon. The Red Ruin is a dragon rider, and she has a Dragonelle mount. Now, the Dragonelles that they are going to be giving us in this book, as far as I can tell, are actually going to be a little bit different than the ones in Fizban's, because the ones in Fizban's are CR2, I believe, and this one is a CR3, given the fact that it does not get a breath weapon necessarily, but given that it was born and raised in a volcano of some kind, it actually is going to be able to have flame-infused strikes, which is pretty cool, and it gets armor, which makes it have an armor class of 16 instead of 13. That is at least what they have told us in the article that they released about it. There we go. So I am excited to get to see this new stat block and compare it to the other one, because I am actually very interested to see what they did to augment it to make it special. Now, the Red Ruin herself looks like she is going to be a CR10 creature, which there's no indication of what type of creature necessarily she's going to be. More than likely humanoid, I have to assume, but there's always a chance that she'll be a monstrosity, a construct, any number of other things. So we are waiting to actually pass judgment on that one. Have to assume it's going to be humanoid. I don't know anything about Dragonlance. If she's already like a well-established character that I just don't know, then somebody knows already. But we will find out in about 24 hours. So there we go. But it appears that she gets specialized mount abilities, which is really, really awesome. There are a couple of other monsters that do this same sort of thing that I really, really like. I really like the idea of having connected creatures, because they are then that much scarier to have on the battlefield, because they operate together. And if they operate together, there is a lot more strategy involved for the DM, strategy involved for the players to avoid these things. And so the fact that they are seemingly going to get some of those abilities makes me very, very happy. If you are unsure of what I am talking about, it appears that she will get things, as they put it, akin to the mounted combatant feat, which I gave not a great grade yesterday. But they are going to be able to do things like pick up mounted evasion, which essentially just means that as long as they are mounted, if they get the ability to make a dexterity saving throw, they are going to get evasion on it, as long as they are, together. It also seems like she is going to be able to give her her partner, Dragonelle, a little bit of extra oomph when she is actually attacking and having it attack. And she's going to be able to, similar to the mounted combatant feat, redirect attacks that would be at her mount up towards her. Again, very, very specific sort of use, but it is still going to be very cool. They also, in the same article write-up thing that they've got going here, they give you a couple of ways that you can actually adapt it to be in a different campaign, if you so choose to, because let's be honest, not all of us are going to be having dragon riders in our campaign as a major military force, though she will make a great leader if you do decide to use it, because they are going to be, as a pair, very fast, very powerful, very, like, I don't even know what the word I'm trying to get. They're going to be a good, like, strike force kind of thing. But in the event that you are not having that in there, they give you a couple of ways that you can actually reskin the whole setup so that it is more of a vehicle rider or something like that, because let's be honest, sometimes you need somebody who is going to not be on a dragon for what you need, and you are welcome to put them on a giant goat or something instead, and just retweak a couple of little things, because obviously it is tooled right now to utilize the flying of the Dragonelle and utilize the attacks of the dragon and all of that. So it will take some redoing, but it is kind of nice that they gave us a little something with that one. Moving on from her to our good friends, the Death Dragons. Excuse me while I pull up some more detailed notes on this one, because they actually gave us a little more with this one. So they describe two different types of Death Dragons in... Sorry. Let's first talk about what a Death Dragon is. A Death Dragon, as far as they have given us in this one, Death Dragons are the remains of a dragon that have been infused with magic fires from the Cataclysm. They retain a little bit of their former personalities, but they are mostly just anger and malevolence of all kinds. They then go on to talk about how there are two different kinds of Death Dragons. There we go. See, we got there eventually. There are greater Death Dragons and there are lesser Death Dragons. Yes, lesser Death Dragons. Had to confirm that it was that simple. The greater ones retain a decent amount of their personality and intelligence, but they are twisted by the necromancy that is suffused in their bodies. And then the lesser Death Dragons are mostly just like balls of rage that go and destroy things and crash through stuff and, all that good stuff that you really want to have when you're trying to not ruin an entire civilization. Good stuff. So they talk a little bit about how Death Dragons are created. They talk about what it is that they want, in that they usually exist to serve the people that created them, but as they gain in power and gain in age as a Death Dragon, I guess, like they could be an ancient dragon and then they sort of reset, it seems like, from what I'm getting here, because the implication that I'm getting is that you have to like work your way back up the ladder essentially. They live to serve until they break free from the people that created them by regaining more and more and more of their memories. And then whenever they do successfully break, it seems like they turn around and they seek revenge for pretty much everything that ever happened to them, both in life and death, which is very, very fun, because suddenly if your players have to deal with one of these, or they kill a dragon that then is turned around to become a Death Dragon, they've got a target painted on their backs with a very powerful dragon. It is... They then go on to talk about how there is a difference between these and Draco Liches and Hollow Dragons, who are more voluntarily changed. Death Dragons are a lot more animalistic, feral, cruel, that kind of thing. They generally have a lower intelligence score, though, as I mentioned before, they do start to regain or retain some of their memories and intelligence as they get older. They really, their big thing, their big feature in their stat block that they give us here is the fact that they have the ability to grapple a lot. They oftentimes will be able to grapple on one of their attacks instead of having to, burn a full action to grapple them or grapple creatures. And the thing that really makes this a big one is that the legendary action that they give us from the Death Dragon here is something called Cataclysmic Rush, which allows the Death Dragon to then move up to half of its speed, and everything around it is dealt a bunch of damage by having moved. And so it's similar to a wing attack, but the fact that you are grappling something means you are hauling it with you just straight up into the air, and suddenly it becomes a lot more difficult for them to worm their way out, because if they get out, they are just falling out of nowhere. In addition to Cataclysmic Rush being a legendary action, they have the Cataclysmic Breath weapon, which deals 10d8 for the greaters, 8d8 for the lessers. The damage type they gave us in this one is necrotic damage, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was also some kind of random effect with it, which is how, Cataclysm stuff usually works in this. They do also tell us that greater Death Dragons have a CR of 14 and lessers have a CR of 10, which means that we are actually looking at the high end of young dragons, low end of adult dragons in terms of our challenge range here. So you actually have the potential to be able to create almost a few of these things if you're running a really high level party over the course of your campaign and then throwing them at them, which will always be an interesting and fun kind of time. Back to the Cataclysm Breath weapon thing. Real quick, there is a piece here that I looked down and saw, but I forgot about otherwise. There will, in my opinion, probably be some kind of random effect, but if there is not, it does go on to say that anything that is reduced to 0 hit points by this kills the creature outright, and any creature killed by that attack, along with any other humanoid corpse in the area, automatically raises as a zombie. Means Resurrection and Raise Dead won't work, and then they go on to say that Revivify will work, but the creature will return as a zombie, which I have questions about because I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to look at the stat block and the wording of the stat block to confirm that that is in fact the way that works, because it seems wrong if you can get there before the point in time that they would be risen as a zombie, but we'll see when the book actually comes out. They go on to talk about in the article about how Death Dragons pick people up and take them really high and then drop them. They give you a little bit of an idea of tactics that you could be using with it, but all around they give us a really fun picture of what this absolute monster is going to be, especially if you are going to be able to use it in an army type of setting. It seems like this thing is going to be able to just absolutely wipe some fields because of the fact that it is so fast and it does so much, and it will turn the things it kills immediately back on the people that are sending them. So early access for people who pre-ordered Shout of the Dragon Queen starts on D&D Beyond today. If you did, make sure you check it out when it comes out. If you didn't, check out these 2 articles because they are really cool. And come back tomorrow for my first look at the actual book. And then just a couple of housekeeping things really quick here before I forget them. This week in the US is Thanksgiving, and whether or not you celebrate Thanksgiving, that is up to you, but I will be traveling to see family for Thursday and Friday, which means that I will not be able to be pushing out episodes for you guys. Sorry about that, but I will be back after tomorrow, next week, Monday, with a new set of things. I got a third-party book in the mail that I'm super excited about, and I cannot wait to do it on that Thursday, so stoked for that one. Yeah, sometime after, once we get into December, I will talk about the end of the season here, just to make sure, you guys aren't surprised by it suddenly coming to a close or anything like that. But until then, just keep enjoying episodes. But know that I will not be posting on Thursday or Friday. So that's that. Anyway, that is what I have to talk to you guys about today. So getting into the shows that we have today, it is Tuesday, which means in no particular order, we have Diary of a Dragon Pit, Star Wars First Resistance, Dungeons and Daddies, Bombarded, Heck for D&D, Glass Cannon, and the Queer Questers. Please go check them out, guys. Put a little D&D in your life. Let them know that I sent you, because again, someday somebody is going to say something to me about it, and I'm going to think that it is funny. But until then, I'm going to keep asking you guys to do that. Yeah, that is it. So, that is everything I have for you guys today. Thank you so very much for making me part of your morning routine. I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much in particular to my patrons. You guys are the ones that make this show possible. If you're interested in becoming a patron, check out the link in the episode description. Yeah, that is everything. So, with all that said, guys, don't forget, drink tea or cider, play D&D, and keep on rolling.